Hi, this is Mark Dudley with my case study, EDL 850, Module 14. All right, what do we need to know about this case? First of all, this case took place in Slidell High School, which is in a large city. It's a very affluent area. A lot of the parents are doctors, lawyers, investment firm workers, a lot of white-collar jobs. Dr. Harvey Smith is the principal. He's been the principal there for 9 years. It's a very prestigious school. He is very highly respected, and within the last 2 years, he was named principal of the year in secondary schools. The teacher in this instance is Ms. Robin Tate. She is a very highly educated teacher, has a master's degree, but she is in her second year of teaching, so she's still learning how to teach and structure her classroom as far as instructional strategies. Her class has a high stress level. It's filled with students that are used to being or trying to become valedictorian, salutatorian, so they're used to making good grades. Her class is tough, causes a lot of stress, a lot of problems. Some of them aren't getting the grades that they feel like they should be getting based on their past performances. So parents have started to concern. Dr. Smith has tried to help her with some instructional strategies, some ways to reduce stress. As of this point, these strategies haven't been working. Recently, in her second year, during a holiday break, she received an email that contained a link to a Facebook page. This Facebook page contains some vulgar words and the idea of who wants Miss Tate to disappear. So it was a very threatening message. She called Dr. Smith. He kind of downplayed it off as a prank. She forwarded the message. He got the message. He was a little hesitant to call anyone, but Miss Tate's frantic nature kind of made him. He kind of asked if anything happened recently to cause this, or if there was any student that she might suspected. She mentioned a student. His name was William Hall, but more of a mischievous, clever kid than a downright hateful person. Dr. Smith calmed her down a little bit, but they agreed to talk about it when they got back over the weekend. Some things that we don't need to know. First of all, we need to know that we didn't get to know based on this case study was how many students does she teach? Does she teach one class? Does she teach 7 classes? Is this 30 students we're talking about, or are we talking about 150 to 200 kids that we're going to have to interview? Do we think it came from a student or a parent? Obviously, there's a lot of issues there's a lot of people involved, so we need to know how many people we're going to have to interview and how many people we're going to have to talk to. And then we need to try to figure out what's the intent. Was it just to scare her? Was it just a prank? Or is this something that somebody is really serious about due to their worriness of how it's going to affect college and things like that? And then the last thing we need to know is, when's the last time any administrator has been in their classroom? It's very important to know this so that we have evidence to back up that she is doing better, that she is, even though class is hard, it's fair. We want to give her as much support as we can, and we don't want to make this a student versus teacher affair, and the administration has kind of no bullets to go with, no protection on her part. So we need to know when's the last time we've been in her classroom, and if there's anything that's happened recently in those classrooms that would cause or spark such a message. As a building leader, my proposed plan of action would be immediately to call the district office, to get in touch with them, to talk to them before we call the police, but through them, whether I call the police or they call the police, we would get the law enforcement involved. Through the district office, we would also get our technology people involved, try to investigate and track where this message came from, kind of where it originated, if we can maybe pinpoint the person or the persons that did this. Obviously, we would investigate and have conversations with all of her classes. Maybe I would talk to each of her class, kind of create an open door policy to let them come to me instead of integrating or talking to each one of them one-on-one, especially if it's 150 to 200 students. That could take a lot of time. I would place Ms. Tate on administrative leave, whether it took a week or 2 weeks, a month, whatever it took for her to feel safe, whether she could go out of town, visit some family, whatever. We would get a substitute to watch her class. And then obviously wouldn't tell them all the information that what we had, but get the essential information to teachers so that they could help if they heard things around the classroom. Okay. Obviously, my investigation got to deal with all her students. I can't just target William Hall just because she said that. But obviously, we'll talk with William. We'll talk with other students to try to get an idea of what stemmed this. As much as possible, we're not going to let it disrupt the school day. Like I said, I'm not going to interview from the get-go. I'm going to interview 200 kids, going to talk to classes, allow them to come to an administrator, come to another teacher, send out email parents, email, phone call to parents about expectation of technology use. Make sure that they're aware of you are at a prestigious school. We do have a code of ethics. We do have a way of doing things. And making sure that you are living up to that. And then obviously once the person is identified, we would take appropriate discipline action, whether it was a parent or whether it was a student. As a business leader, as a building leader, I feel like I've resolved these issues based on promoting the academic success and personal well-being of every student. By making sure that I contacted my supervisors, the district office level. I contacted law enforcement. I contacted the district technologists, trying to make sure that we were trying to find this as quick as possible. Obviously, I reminded the students and the staff of the appropriate use of technology. I've followed up with conversations throughout the school. And then, like I said, whether it's a parent or a student, we would make sure that the appropriate punishment went through and made sure that our school was a safe environment for all students and staff. As a building leader, promoted academic success and personal well-being for every student on how quickly I involved my superiors and law enforcement. I listened to the concerns of my employee. I didn't take it lightly, took it as if it was against me. And then I maintained confidentiality. I let the investigation go through, did not mention those that were involved, did not discriminate against William Hall and other things like that, just to make sure that this was a very safe investigation. Throughout this problem, a couple things that I've thought about was just the chain of command. Who at the district office would I call? Would I call the superintendent right away? Would I call the coordinator of secondary high schools, just to make sure that I've got the right person in line, and that way there's no waiting on decisions, that I'm speaking with the decision maker. Really thinking about how Miss Tate must feel, make sure that she feels protected and supported during this entire time. Going through and speaking with law enforcement and district office people about what the punishment would be, should this be for a student, what the punishment should be, if this were a parent, what are the legal ramifications at that point. And then thinking about possible ways to find and track people that use technology in the wrong way. What are the procedures for our IT department? What is the law enforcement going to be looking for, and how can we kind of expedite this process? Some of the things I'm feeling, obviously I have empathy for Ms. Tate. Feel bad for her. Would feel bad for any of my teachers if that was the case. I really want to make her feel safe and supported. I feel like I should have assigned her a mentor. She brings a lot of education to the field. I don't want to drive her away, but she obviously needs some support, and giving her a mentor might give her a better chance of success in this in the education world. Want to make sure that her students feel safe. If this is somebody from outside the class, they're going to be concerned as well. If it's somebody inside the class, maybe they know it's a prank. But if it's somebody from outside, they have a lot of questions too, and I want to make sure that they feel safe as well. And then I really want to try to get back to, even though this investigation is going to be going on for a while, a couple of days, maybe a week or two, I want to get back to business as usual in the classroom. I want to make sure students, staff get back to learning in a safe environment as quick as possible. And then a couple of things that I value. Obviously, one of the things that we take for granted sometimes is just our safe environment. I want to make sure that we value that. For the most part, this has been a prestigious school. We've had no issues, so I really value the safe environment that we have. And then obviously I value the people that protect us, our law enforcement, our IT department, my superiors. Okay, and I value the work that our teachers and students do on a daily basis. Obviously, this isn't something that happens every day, and I just feel like 99.9% of the time, teachers and students do what they are supposed to do, and create a good learning environment. And I just feel like I highly value that in our school. A couple unresolved issues that I see from this case. Obviously, Miss Tate still has a concern for her safety, whether the person was identified or not. She's got to feel safe to do her job the right way. One of the main issues that I have is Dr. Smith's reaction. He needs to take this serious, and why he didn't. We need to evaluate his response to this problem. And then we need to evaluate why someone felt compelled to go to such extreme measures. This could bring potential media involvement to our school, and not in a good way. And then obviously we need to resolve the issues when it comes to Miss Tate's teaching. Once she gets back in the classroom, do we give her a mentor? Do we get her some more training to help her come across in a better light to her students? And as far as Standard 5 goes, promoting the success of every student by acting with integrity, I felt like I did that. I treated the situation very seriously. Like I mentioned, I didn't stop and interview 200 students throughout the day. I kind of talked with each class. I allowed my door to be opened for them to come in and talk to us. And then I made sure that I followed all the procedures and policies that we had in place by contacting my supervisors and getting the district and law enforcement involved. I feel like that I promoted the success of every student by acting with fairness. I maintained confidentiality. I did not discuss William Hall, did not discuss other teachers, students that came to me. I didn't question any one person. Remember, I talked with all classes involved, dealt with students that came to me personally, and out of respect for Miss Tate, I sent her home on administrative leave so that she could feel safe and the school could continue on its way throughout this investigation. And then I felt like I promoted the success of every student by acting in an ethical manner. I've taken all threats seriously, quickly investigated the situation, making sure that she felt safe. Plan on is to get Miss Tate back in the classroom as safe and possible, soon and safe as it is, and then to get Miss Tate the support that she needs to become a successful teacher and reduce the stress in her classroom.